And then we have this game winner over here. It falls right into her lap. Look at it, right into her lap. After she pulls a Leah Boston, and then she tries to go up for it. Man, if you're a pro, you got to make that in. If you're a pro, you got to make. Wow, that's crazy. Ryan Rucco said, "I'm getting stressed out watching her attempt this."
She can't make the shot. They miss again, and it sends them into overtime. And then obviously there's this shot that has gone so viral of Caitlin Clark walking behind Angel Reese and kind of just smirking. Like, Angel is obviously so frustrated. She missed that layup, and Caitlin is in the back looking like an absolute menace. Honestly,
Angel Reese had the easiest opportunity of the night sitting directly in front of her, but when the game needed one final finish, the ball refused to go and the score was tied at 81, and that layup could have ended everything right there. Instead, Atlanta went to overtime and Indiana eventually escaped with a 95-91 victory, but the missed shot wasn't actually the most explosive part of what happened, because moments later the cameras caught Caitlin Clark walking behind Reese with a smile, and suddenly the internet had a completely different story to talk about. Was Clark actually laughing at Reese, or did millions of people just interpret a 2-second reaction through the lens of a rivalry that has been building for years? Tell me your POV in the comments, because that answer changes how you see this entire moment.
Reese had missed a wide open layup, and Caitlin Clark had played great in the first half, and Michaela Timpson had played great in the first half, and Alicia Gray had played great in the first half. But the halftime show was basically all excusing away Angel Reese missing point-blank shot.
But it's actually Indiana that has 7 points off of the turnovers.
Angel
that Atlanta
Reese
has
somehow.
Odd with Reese leaking out, finds her, and Reese can't finish. 3 to shoot. Reese will fire a 3. Odd can't hit. Reese left alone. Reese gets denied by. I'm getting stressed out watching her attempt it. Reese can't. Vegas at 9.
But here's what makes the final miss even more interesting. Reese had already been struggling around the basket throughout the game. By halftime she had 7 points and 9 rebounds, which sounds impressive until you look at the other numbers. She had taken 10 shots and missed 7. The problem wasn't created by the final possession, it had been developing throughout the night, and despite those misses the halftime discussion was still heavily focused on Reese's energy and rebounding. So by the time that final layup appeared, it wasn't just one bad shot, it was the final image of a problem that had already been visible for hours.
Angel Reese somehow.
Odd with Reese leaking out, finds her, and Reese can't finish. 3 to shoot. Reese will fire a 3. Odd can't hit. Reese left alone. Reese gets denied by. I'm getting stressed out watching her attempt it. Reese can't. Vegas at 9.
And here's where the story gets complicated, because Angel Reese's final stat line wasn't terrible. She finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds and 6 assists. That's a near triple-double, but she also shot just 5 of 16 from the field, so the same player being criticized for missing easy shots was also dominating the offensive glass and creating plays for her teammates. That's the contradiction people online kept ignoring. Reese was productive and inefficient at the exact same time, and that makes the final possession even more painful, because after everything else she had done, she finally got the one opportunity that could have changed the entire conversation.
Real good stuff. Angel Reese, again, I'll probably have a video in the morning. 5 of 16. 5 of 16 for 15 points. Yeesh. Oh, but she did have 14 rebounds. So, yeah, we've got to celebrate that.
I mean, aside from the humiliating missed layups, as she had 14 rebounds, again, she is leading the WNBA in rebounding, and she is now being called one of, if not the greatest rebounder in WNBA history. But let's get back to what she really does best, which is, again, the humiliating missed
On the
layup.
other side, Caitlin Clark finished with 26 points and 9 assists, and Indiana survived overtime. But Clark's impact wasn't just the numbers. Her scoring came from different areas of the floor, and her game has been expanding as the season has progressed. She has been attacking the basket more, using the mid-range and creating opportunities for teammates, and that matters, because while Reese was struggling to finish close to the basket, Clark was finding ways to keep Indiana's offense moving. That difference became even more obvious when the game reached its most important minutes.
Pardon the impoliteness, I have a new nickname for Angel Reese. Butter. As in, you know, you've heard Butterface. But her face. Great legs, great butt, great rebounding. Then the offense. ESPN built her a throne on Saturday. Sunday, she missed a wide open layup, as bad a miss as we've seen in professional basketball. 3 of 10 at the half. She told Holly Roll she was playing like SHIT. The studio heard energy and double-double. Late regulation, when on her fingertip, she missed again. Caitlin Clark couldn't help busting out a smile. The clip flew. 5 years begging for Clark-level attention, and she woke up the biggest joke on social media this morning. That's my fire starter today.
But we have to separate what the footage shows from what people think it means. The camera clearly captured Clark smiling, but the footage cannot prove what was happening inside her head. She could have been reacting to the chaos, she could have been relieved that the game wasn't over, or she could have genuinely found the moment funny. Nobody watching that clip can prove the answer, and yet that uncertainty is exactly what made the clip explode, because when two players already have years of history, even a 2-second facial expression can become a headline.
Angel Reese, in particular, her energy shift.
Athletes know it's not how you start, it's how you finish, and that energy is contagious because if you look at Angel Reese, she already has 7 and 9. She's already getting close to a double-double.
Let's go back to Angel really quickly, though, because she was part of the catalyst that you saw to be able to change things around.
She's used to getting double teams, she's used to triple teams, and she's used to contact. There's no one better to learn from when it comes to being a beast on the boards than Angel Reese.
Yeah, because when the game started and Angel Reese was missing some of those bunnies, we were all talking about it, and I was like, she's not missing these because of Indiana's defense.
And this wasn't created overnight. The Clark and Reese rivalry goes all the way back to college, and one of the most famous chapters came during the 2023 National Championship when Reese taunted Clark with the famous "you can't see me" gesture. Years later, the visual almost looked reversed. Reese was standing under the basket after missing the shot while Clark appeared in the background smiling. That doesn't prove that Clark was intentionally mocking her, but it explains why fans immediately connected the two moments. The history turned an ordinary basketball reaction into something much bigger.
We have to talk about that meme. That was so funny. At the end of regulation, where there's a few seconds left on the clock, Atlanta is going up for the last shot. Ryan Howard, she airballs it. Angel Reese gets the airball rebound, goes up with it. She can't make the shot. They miss again, and it sends them into overtime. And then obviously there's this shot that has gone so viral of Caitlin Clark walking behind Angel Reese and kind of just smirking. Like, Angel is obviously so frustrated. She missed that layup, and then Caitlin is in the back looking like an absolute menace. Honestly, I don't even care if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, if you're an Angel Reese fan, you got to admit that this was funny. And I can't even lie, I'm glad that this was all that it was for this matchup, because it feels like every time Caitlin Clark goes up against Angel Reese, ever since college, you guys, ever since like their junior year in college, it's always something with these two. It's always something, and then it turns into something greater than that. This is just something fun and light and funny, and a great meme.
And then there's one number that makes this rivalry impossible to ignore. Before this game, Reese had already gone 1-6 against Clark in their WNBA regular season meetings. This game made that record even more difficult for Reese, so when people saw the missed layup, they weren't looking at an isolated mistake, they were looking at another chapter in a matchup where Clark had already won 6 of the previous 7 professional meetings, and that is why the reaction became so much more emotional than a normal missed shot.
Way, in a positive way, because make no mistake about it, Angel Reese, following that Atlanta Dream Indiana Fever game, Angel Reese has gone far more viral after that game than Caitlin Clark. For all the wrong reasons, but she has gone more viral, right? Not because of her skill, like her lack of skill, her embarrassing attempts, her wide open layups that went clink, clink, clunk off the rim. Oh, but this right here, this might be a meme for the ages right here.
Within hours, the actual game was competing with its own viral version online. The clip was being replayed, slowed down, zoomed in, and turned into a meme. The missed layup became one story and Clark's reaction became another, but there's an important detail that gets lost whenever a moment like this goes viral. Reese actually had 14 rebounds and 6 assists, while Clark had 26 points and 9 assists, and Indiana still had to play an entire overtime period to finish the job. So the internet's favorite image wasn't the entire game, it was simply the most emotionally powerful few seconds of it.
Let's get to the game. It went to overtime, 95-91. Michaela Timpson, 20 points on 9 of 13. 7 rebounds, 1 block shot. Caitlin Clark, 26 on 9 of 20. 9 assists, 3 boards. Kelsey Mitchell, she extended the streak. Come hell or high water. 20 points on 9 of 22.
And now the story has another twist because Indiana and Atlanta were sitting close enough in the standings for this rivalry to potentially continue into the playoffs. The Fever were 4th at 23-12 while the Dream were 5th at 21-13. If those positions held, a first-round matchup would turn everything we've just watched into something much bigger. There would be no next regular season meeting to erase the memory, no easy reset after a bad possession, just elimination basketball, and suddenly that 2-second smile would become almost irrelevant compared with what could happen when these two teams meet with a season on the line.
Now seeing this play out in real time with the ESPN games. Imagine the Fever playoff games. Imagine if the Fever are able to go to the finals, the kind of numbers that will be there. Because look at these numbers Caitlin Clark is putting up right now.
So maybe the biggest story here isn't whether Caitlin Clark laughed at Angel Reese. Maybe it's what that moment represents. Reese had a near triple-double. She dominated the glass. She had the chance to become the hero, but Clark and Indiana got the victory, and now another chapter has been added to a rivalry that refuses to disappear. The question is simple: if these two meet again when the stakes are even higher, will Angel Reese get her revenge, or will Caitlin Clark get the final laugh again? Tell me which side you see winning that matchup, and if you want more WNBA stories built around the facts, the controversy, and what happens next, make sure you subscribe.
Viral of Caitlin Clark walking behind Angel Reese and kind of just smirking. Like, Angel is obviously so frustrated. She missed that layup, and then Caitlin is in the back looking like an absolute menace. Honestly, I don't even care if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, if you're an Angel Reese fan. You got to admit that this was funny. And I can't even